All right. Welcome back to Changing Our Ways, and welcome back to... Oh no, Chantelle is not with me. It's just me. It's just Grant all on his own this week. Well, can you believe it? The first week that we've only had the single podcast host, and you're just stuck with me. How about that? I'm sure you'll love it anyway. I mean, I can go on and talk and probably be a bit annoying at times, but at least you've got someone who gives you lots of information. But we're doing a little bit of an experiment, just doing one host this week. Chantelle's out to dinner with some lovely ladies from the WLS community, and I'm sure they're all having a good time. But this week we're actually doing an interview with one of the most prominent male members of the community in formerly Chubby Hubby, Nik Machek. So it's going to be good to have a chat with him in just a few moments. But either way, it's really good to have you guys back this week. I really enjoy having you join me on the podcast every week. It's always good to get that feedback on the podcast, and we're still going strong. We still have to get that feedback in the community. We still have to get that feedback on the show itself. So please, if you do get a chance, make sure you send us how you feel about the show, what you'd love to hear, any advice, any suggestions. We always love to hear it. If you also get a chance, mentioning things like that, if you do get a chance, go to iTunes and actually go to our show's page. If you can actually give us a review, that'd be great as well. The more love that we're feeling, it'd be great. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube as well. I know I've been saying this for a few weeks, but I really don't feel it's going to be too long until we get some videos, proper videos up there, and actually start expanding on the podcast quite a bit. So yeah, please support the show as much as you possibly can, and we'd love to really hear from you in all forms and all possible ways on the podcast itself. Before we get to Nick, in terms of my non-WLS story of the week, it's been pretty full on for myself at work, so not really too much time to do anything in my personal life. One thing that I've just found funny, which is just recently happened, once again, I'll talk about probably sport nearly every single time when it comes to non-WLS stories in my personal life. And I'm a big cricket fan, as people might know by now, but Australia lost the first test against Bangladesh, which was an absolute disaster, which I found funny. But the GOAT, Nathan Lyon, came back and took 7 wickets in the first innings, and now tonight he's taken another 6 wickets and finished the test at 13 wickets. Now, for all the ladies who don't follow cricket out there, that is really, really good. It's very rare for someone to have a performance like he has had, even for all the blokes who don't follow cricket. But I mean, for all the people out there that do follow cricket, they'll know that taking 13 wickets in a test match is pretty unbelievable. So I thought that's a good upturn sign for the Aussie cricketers, coming off the back of an absolute disastrous week for the Aussie soccer players who didn't get automatic qualification to the World Cup, and now they'll have to go through Syria, which is, well, I mean, I couldn't help but laugh. I mean, I love my soccer. I love following it, and I'm a proud Australian supporter, of course. Very patriotic when it comes to sport, but I just thought it was funny, the fact that we couldn't get over, we barely got over Thailand, and then we just didn't get automatic qualification because Japan didn't give us stuff about us, and they thought, okay, we'll roll out our B team, and yeah, anyway, things like that happen, and sport is not life. I suppose there's bigger things that happen in life anyway, and can certainly be a lot worse things that happen in our lives. But anyway, that's what's happened in my week, and without Chantelle being here, I can tell you that for hers, it's the fact that she's just recently quit her job, and she'll be very happy to get out of the industry that she's in at the moment, very happy to get out of the customer service side, and she'll be actually coming to work with me, which we kind of touched on in our last episode a little bit, but it'll be interesting. We've worked together plenty of times before. We worked for a very long time at the one company together, and we know how each other work, but it's going to be very interesting to see how she does in my industry. It's a very different industry than the one she's working at the moment, so new challenges for her ahead. I think that's what she's been looking forward to the most, but yeah, big changes. But yeah, I think that'd be her non-WLS story for the week. Now, before I go any further, I can't forget to mention our two sponsors of the show. Firstly, Bariatric Monthly. Now, remember, guys, if you wanted to get in and start with some bariatric supplements or bariatric foods and really tailored to our bariatric community, give the box a go. Give the Bariatric Monthly box a go. Now, if you use the code SEP17, that'll give you $5 off the September box. Now, you don't have to get a 3-month or a 12-month subscription. If you just want to try it out once, you can certainly give one box a go and see how you go with it. It's got some great products in there that give you a good variety of some different vitamins, different foods, different things to try that are tailored to our community, okay? So give that a go. Also, remember that we're also tied with Cost Price Supplements. Gives you 15% off store-wide on your entire shopping cart by using the code WLSFamily. Now remember, that doesn't include Quest bars, OptiFast, books, and samples. Anything else is fair game. So if you could basically get a whole lot of products on that site, costpricesupplements.com.au, and you still get 15% off. And that's not just WLS supplements, okay? Not just bariatric supplements. It's for anything on there. So if you've got a friend, if you've got a family member that actually isn't part of the WLS community, but they actually want some, protein perfection water, some protein jelly, or even just some supplements, anything at all that they need, they might actually have part of their fitness regime, use the code as well. They're all covered in that. All right. So just remember those 4 things: Quest bars, OptiFast, samples, and books. They're not included under the code WLS Family. So they're not included in that discount of 15%, but anything else is included. All right. So just remember those 2 codes: SCP-17 for Bariatric Monthly Box and WLS Family for Cost Price Supplements. All right, guys. So without further ado, I should really bring in the superstar guest of the evening. Pretty much what you've joined the episode for, and what you want to hear from is Mr. Formerly Chubby Hubby, Nik Machek. How you going?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Now, did I pronounce your surname right? I didn't even check with you. Is that how you pronounce your surname?
Close enough. That's how Aussies pronounce it anyway.
Ah, what's the background?
It's Czech.
Ah, cool. What's the correct pronunciation?
You need to involve a lot more saliva, and it's called Machek.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Machek works good. A lot of people say Machek or some random variation of that. So it's good enough.
Well, typically Aussies are going to pretty much do whatever they like with surnames. We don't really try and learn these days, but I suppose that's a little bit of Western society.
Surprisingly enough, not that many people call me Macca.
Really?
Anyway.
That is actually surprising. I would have thought that is a typical Aussie thing to do, to call you Macca.
Yep.
But then again, with your first name being Nick, would it be Nico instead?
Naturally.
Yes. No, obviously. Yeah. Now, look, it's great for you to join me on the program, and it's actually really weird to be here without Chantelle. I actually don't really notice the change, but I think it's good to just have a couple of blokes having a yarn and shooting the shit.
The proverbial.
Yeah. So we'll have to mark this one as explicit as well, Chantelle. Sorry. Oh, that's okay. You're not here, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I mean, she would make us blush anyway.
Probably the case. All right, let's run over the details we do have on you, Nick. And look, I suppose what this is about is to really go over what we do know about you, but also learn more about what we don't know about you. And this is your episode after all. We want people to know about you. So what we know is that you had a gastric sleeve in May of last year. So the 30th of May, I believe, is on last year. Your starting weight was 146 kilos. Now, was that pre-surgery weight or was that pre-diet weight?
That was my highest weight. So that was before I started OptiFast.
Oh, there you go. So 146. And now you're currently down to 73. Is that right?
73, 72, yeah, more or less.
Mate, half a person. Exactly half a person. It's
right.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I've had people, and look, this is one of the things I'll probably ask you straight up, but I've had certainly a lot of people say to me, "Oh, mate, you've done such a great job. It's amazing what you've done." And personally, sometimes I get a little bit embarrassed by it because I'm like, well, I did it because, I had to do it, and this is the reason I did it. How do you feel about people saying that? Because I'm sure you've heard all that kind of, really positive feedback, of course, but all those people just going, "Oh, mate, what a great job you've done. You're amazing." How do you feel when people say that kind of stuff to you?
Yeah, look, for most of the people that have had it done, probably know it. For the people that haven't, it's never not an awkward discussion.
No.
It's sort of, I have. Can we not dwell on it too much? Because, it just doesn't. I don't know. It's not necessary. It's appreciate it, but
yeah, for sure. I know exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. It's the case of like, I'm here living my life. Losing the weight was part of the decision I made to go, get surgery, but. It's almost like some people almost treat you like a hero, or they treat you like an extraordinary human being. And it's like, well, I'm not that kind of person. I mean, thank you very much for giving me the praise, but I'm just a normal person living my life and enjoying life now, whereas before I mightn't have enjoyed it as much as I do now. I don't know. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah. Like I understand if the shoe on the other foot, if I, someone that I knew was the size I was and the size that I am now, or, I'd have all the time in the world for them and want to keep talking to them about it and keep making them feel good about it. But being the guy that's done it, yes, it's impressive and all the rest of it, but it doesn't feel like I've changed the world here, just doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So, you kind of want to entertain them because they've taken the time to talk to you about it and show their appreciation or amazement or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, can we not dwell on it too much?
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk about the footy score or something else?
Let's talk about something else. And look, we just recently had the episode of Battle of the Sexes, and one thing that I didn't dwell on, which is a perfect thing what you're saying. Well, I suppose I talked about it a little bit, but not in detail, is that guys will tend to not want to talk about those kind of things. They'll want to distract from that. It's because it's not really in a lot of our natures, in a general factor, and not all guys are like this, but from a general aspect, we don't really want to talk about that kind of stuff when we don't believe it. We are more the case of, this is just me. I'm just who I am. Let's just stop talking about how good I've done, or let's just stop talking about me in such an ongoing fashion. Let's just get on with it and do some do normal things. Let's get back to normal. And I certainly hear what you're saying. So let's go back to what I was just going over. Obviously, what we know, which is obviously the gastric sleeve surgery, the starting weight, the current weight, 146 to 73. We know that you're a loving husband and dad. And we also know very much from your social media side and your Instagram side is that you're very much into the fitness. Would you say you're a fitness junkie now?
No, I don't have enough knowledge on the subject to be a fitness junkie. I'm an enthusiast.
An enthusiast. That's actually probably a better word. Which were you? And I think this is maybe the case for a number of males out there, maybe yourself as well. Were you always kind of into sport and fitness and exercise? Not necessarily maybe dedicated to it like you are now as maybe as much, but were you always wanting to be, active and have that exercise aspect in your life?
100%. I guess as growing up, I was into some fairly unusual sort of a sports. Racing competitive go-karts for the best part of a decade and competition air rifle shooting and that sort of stuff. It's, not your conventional sports that people play. Had a slightly different take on it. And usually sports that didn't take massive amounts of fitness, which suited me rather well.
No, fair enough. Has that changed? Has that changed for you now in the better that you're more active with that stuff? Can you do more than what you were able to do previously?
Yeah, obviously, being half the weight, you have a lot more energy and a lot more, I guess, ability in that regard. But most of it probably comes from a confidence aspect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just willing to give it a go.
Yeah, for sure.
Where previously I'd just be the guy standing on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way back to, the old blue light disco days where I'd stand in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just too self-conscious or too awkward to even approach a girl for a dance,
Yeah. No, I hear you, mate. And look, I certainly identify with that myself. And it's just comes... It's really simple for guys, I think. We just want to be able to do the simple things in life. We don't worry about the little things, and that's just maybe our makeup. But certainly things like having that confidence just to do that one simple task or that one simple thing that people don't see as complicated can be such a huge factor in why we want to lose the weight, we want to feel good, we want to look good and things like that. But yeah, no, I certainly identify with what you're saying for sure. What was, I suppose, really from the start, what was your motivating factor, or really what got you to that breaking point to come to a decision of, to undertake, weight loss surgery?
Look, it probably wasn't one individual situation. It was, probably a decade of little things along the way. But probably the final straw for me was, a lot of your Aussie listeners will understand this. Some of the international ones might not. But I was working in what they call a FIFO job, or fly in, fly out. Now over here in Western Australia, very common for your tradies to find a job up north where they're working basically a swing system where you work away for a week or two or up to 4 weeks at a time, and then you're home for anywhere between 5 days and a week, basically on R&R, and it's a roster situation. And I was working up north as an operator maintainer, and very, very, a lot of medicals, a lot of health and safety, a lot of issues going on up there. I'm working for these massive mining companies ultimately, and it got to a point where I'm doing my yearly medical, and as an operator, so basically what I was driving was a loco, or a maintenance equipment for rail, and as an operator, their seats are load rated to 100 kilos.
Yeah.
And here I am at a bloke doing his medical at 140 kilos. And next thing they're telling me I have to lose weight, or principally I will lose my job.
Wow. Okay, so that's, no more of a motivating factor there's obviously more motivating factors, but still that's a massive one, like to say, well, you need to drop the weight or you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your livelihood. So yeah, that's got to be massive. And
look, that was, I didn't need some doctor to tell me that I was too heavy.
No, of course.
But that's when it all, it gets to a point where you, I think most people that reach an overweight level find ways to ignore it.
Yeah.
That sort of statement you can't ignore anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
And the way fate took me, ended up finding a job back in Perth, which, similar sort of money and home every night, so ended up taking that. But same thing, I had to do a pre-employment medical. And they made me jump on the scales, and I'm dreading it. And at the time, I didn't mention it to them, but the scales weren't working properly and showed me about 25 kilos lighter than what I really was.
Oh, wow.
So I was quite happy about that and kept it to myself.
Yeah, of course. No,
Even at that point, the doc there told me I'm a bit on the heavy side.
Yeah.
At that point, I told him the surgery wasn't booked yet, but it was certainly a discussion I've already had, and basically talked my way through it, and managed to get the job. And it's all in the past, but along, with obviously wanting to be, becoming a dad and all the rest of it, there's lots of reasons for it. But that was probably the shake up that said, okay, you know what, let's get on with it.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, I certainly can't say that I know what I know what that's like, but that's got to be really hitting you straight in the face. Did you ever? I mean, was it the kind of thing where you actually did you consider changing? I suppose workforce, like changing the type of work that you did because of the weight that you were. Did you think, I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm just going to have to change jobs, or were you like, nah, that is it, I've got to do something, no other path, this is the life that I want, and if I want the life that I want, I'm going to have to do something?
Yeah, look, I guess I'm probably too stubborn for it. There's no way I was going to let something like that dictate what I do with my life.
Yeah, fair enough.
And don't get me wrong, they were actually really understand. Yeah, it's a strange one because I'd already looked at the surgery prior to that incident with medicals and too heavy, But it was, I had talked to the surgeon at that point, but it was years later before I actually had the surgery from the first time I talked to the surgeon.
Yeah, sure.
So, to go back a bit, again, this scenario where, like I said, the roster I was working on was 9 days on, 5 days off. You basically live in accommodation up north, work 12-hour days or nights, you alternate shifts, and then I was home for five days at a time. Now, the camp accommodation has a gym, has all the gear, I thought, okay. I went up there and I said the mentality was I'm going to go to the gym every day up there. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to be fit as a fiddle.
Yeah.
And, this is great. I won't need the surgery. The problem is the other side of that coin is you go up there, it's a buffet for every meal of the day.
Right.
There's a wet mess, basically a pub at the camp, and a stub of your beer costs $2.30.
Wow, okay.
And there's a distinct line. There's guys that go to the pub, there's guys that go to the gym every day, and there's guys that go to the pub every day.
Yeah, for sure.
And I went the opposite way of which way I intended to go to.
Well, the temptation's there. I mean, like for all of us, pre-surgery and regardless of, I suppose, all our backgrounds, the temptation is there, and it's got to be hard because when you're not really, I suppose, for a lot of us, when we're not making that conscious, proper choice that we're supposed to make, we don't necessarily want to. Even post-surgery, I'm sure that there's things that are still tempting everyone out there, like you and yourself included. It's hard when temptation is in front of you, for sure. So I mean, I don't think you'd be the only one who would have gone down that path, for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Today, I order a salad at dinner and I still feel cheated at the end of the day. There's some things just don't change.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, for sure. For the type of work that you do, you're saying, like, you're working 9 days on, 5 days off, and 12-hour days. Was the weight a factor in terms of how well you could work? I mean, was it taking it out of you every day? I mean, regardless of weight, that's got to take it out of you anyway. But surely that's got to add something to it.
For sure. We're talking, summer up in Karratha, you're talking about 43-degree days.
Yeah.
And I was working out in 200 k's away from the closest town. Look, at the time it was what it was, and I dealt with it. And I think, like a lot of people at that weight, you don't realise that life gets any better than that. You think running out of breath going up a flight of stairs might be normal.
Yeah.
There's for sure I would be managing easier these days up there in some regards.
Yeah.
In other ways, it would in fact be worse. Like, in the middle of summer up there, you're drinking 9 litres of water a day without thinking about it.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how I would manage today attempting that.
Yeah.
There's guys that have done it and they manage somehow, but dehydration for sure would be an issue for me these days.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't have that answer because I'm not doing it these days.
No,
but if somebody does, I'd be certainly interested to know.
No, fair enough. Well, I suppose from a basic point of view, is there any reason you chose, I mean, going back to the surgery, is there any reason you chose the sleeve over other options, or was that just something you were always, this is the one I want? Did you maybe get, a recommendation from your surgeon? How did you come to that decision rather than going through other options?
It's not a very romantic story. My surgeon offered band, sleeve, or balloon.
Okay,
bypass
right.
Bypass wasn't an option with him. I'd read about the bypass. Again, not that he led me down a path, but he said he doesn't do it. So I've assumed from that it wasn't a particularly common thing in Australia.
Yeah, sure.
Hindsight shows that there's a different scenario.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't have any regrets,
No.
Yeah, not that I needed it, but I guess, reading into it a bit more afterwards, the sleeve is the first step. If for whatever strange reason hasn't worked, or you have massive reflux issues or whatever it is, the bypass is still possible.
Yeah.
So I'm not unhappy by that. I've taken a step, it's had a result. But there was a step further possible if necessary.
For sure. I mean, you've got to be happy with your results, of course. And what was your goal weight when you started?
Well, usual thing. Then had to go see a dietitian before I actually went and had the surgery. That was part of the surgeon's requirements. And the surgeon basically told me what my goal weight should be. And they suggested hitting 78 kilos, which I guess is the point when I go from overweight to normal on the BMI scale at 78 kilos. At the time, this is me sitting there at 146 kilos, says, 78 kilos is what you should be aiming for. And in my head, I went, you've got to be joking.
Yeah.
In what world? In my head, if I thought if I hit double figures, I'm doing well.
Yeah, for sure.
My old man's a similar sort of build to me, and he floats between 95 and 100 kilos.
Yeah, sure.
And I looked at him and went, that's common sense says. So the thought of hitting sub 80 kilos was never even in the realm of possible, and here I am today. If I tried hard, I'd be in the 60s, which I certainly don't want to be.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's amazing what the body's actually capable of once you start going down that path.
Yeah, for sure. What would be a kind of going off the schedule here? But I'm just thinking about the fact that you have dropped so much. I mean, what would be what you a typical meal for you at dinner time pre-surgery compared to now? And I'm specifically saying dinner time because I know that obviously you do a lot more fitness now, and that seems like it's earlier in the day. I could be wrong, but I mean I'm particularly thinking dinner time because I'm thinking that might be after your gym.
Yeah. Principally a gym and then eating. Mate, it's hard because even it almost seems so long ago. The life has this distinct pre-surgery and post-surgery timeline in it. These days, I think about what I've done and it relates to when I had the surgery. It should probably relate to when I had my kid, but I had my kid about a month before I had the surgery, so it's all about the same. Yeah. Look, I think the only thing that's really changed is probably the portion size. There's a couple of things which I struggle with these days, but I guess I pretty much just ate like a dickhead before.
Yeah. You and me both, mate. That's okay. I'm in that same path as well.
And I don't know, for me personally, the whole surgery thing, while there obviously was a physical change of having 70-80% of your stomach removed, what really happened for me the moment I had the surgery was the mental change.
Yes. Yes, of course.
And I think that's probably had a lot more effect on me than what the actual physical difference to my body is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess, yeah, you might need to get the bleeper out for this one, but
No,
it
you're
was me, after I had the surgery, I thought, if I don't lose the weight, it's 100% on me. I've been given the tool. If I don't manage this now, it's 100% my screw up.
Yes.
You know, so the thought, oh, maybe it hasn't worked, blah, 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 blah. Don't even entertain that. Just say, okay, I have the tool. The tool works. I don't need to question the tool.
Yeah.
It will work 100%. So I put so much pressure on myself to say, I'm going to lose the weight, because if I don't, I'm the one that got me there in the first place anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the reset. If it doesn't happen now, it's because I can't get it figured out between my ears. It's got nothing to do with what's, below my nipple line and above my other bits.
Yeah.
It's got to do with what's between the ears.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I suspect if the surgeon would have put 5 little incisions on my stomach, on my belly, and told me I had the surgery but never had it, I probably would have had similar results anyway.
And that's a really good way to think of it, because it is very much a mental game. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that before they get into the surgery. I mean, certainly I didn't. I mean, my sister had the surgery a year before me, and I didn't really track what she did very closely, but I knew that was something that I wanted to do eventually. And I went through such a mental change, like you're talking. It's literally one day to the next. You're like, wow, I'm a different person. I've got to lead a different life. I've got to be, taking this second chance. I've got to do the right thing now. And I think everyone can kind of relate to what you're saying, because it is very much, it's very much a mental game, and people need to understand that, who are actually thinking about having that surgery, whatever surgery it is too. I think regardless of, the 3 main options with, your band, your sleeve, and your bypass, I think it's a mental game regardless. Personally, I think the sleeve
100%.
is hardest, but that's just my own opinion. But I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I think it'd be very hard to do it either way. But it's a good analogy you've got. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how someone would go with being told they had the surgery, having the incisions and all that, and actually seeing how they would do it, and having the same mindset that you did, that I actually had to change my life. It'd be really interesting to see, because I think you're right. I think you'd find that someone would have a similar result. Maybe not as great, maybe not as quick, but they have a similar result. And I think I'd love to see that. I think that'd be really good to find out if someone would do that. I mean, I kind of sticking to the same line, but talking more about a reflection on the decision. How did your friends and family, and I suppose more importantly, your partner, your wife, how did they react to your decision about going down this path?
It's a funny one. Initially, obviously my direct family knew, and my close friends did, but nobody at work, nobody outside my very tight knit group knew that I was having the surgery.
Sure.
And I was happy about that. And then it was pretty much at the 11th hour, like the day before I was having the surgery, something just clicked in my head, and I went, I don't know about this.
Oh, right.
So I put this long-winded post on Facebook, basically telling everybody exactly what I was doing.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to be out and open with it. This doesn't, I don't know how to handle, if I get the results that I'm apparently going to get, I don't know how to explain it to people and not be honest about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, the feedback was all positive. Hindsight I probably lost a couple of friends over it, but they never bothered talking to me about it. So that probably describes the level of friendship in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't really care. Good on them. Got better things to do.
Exactly.
And honestly, being open and honest about it was the best thing I could have done.
Yeah, of course.
You know what blokes are like. They won't say anything until it's, a bloke will never suggest that a female's pregnant until the baby's head's sticking out, because
exactly.
you run the risk of actually calling a fat person pregnant.
Yeah. I know what you're saying for sure.
So here I am, down the track, 3 months post-op, whatever it is, and it's gotten to the point where I'm in a workshop with, 60 other blokes. And all of a sudden nobody said anything, but then within a week, I've got people just constantly talking to me saying, Nick, you look different, you lost weight, what's going on? Uh-huh. Again, because most of these guys aren't on Facebook. I haven't, I'm open about it, but I'm not rubbing it in people's faces. I'm not jumping around saying I've had surgery.
Exactly.
I had 3 weeks off a month after my kid was born. I just went on holidays, enjoyed my kid. Turns out I had surgery the first day of those holidays. But, when it gets to a point where there's other blokes that you barely talk to, talking to you about the fact that you've lost a lot of weight, that was certainly the point where I was happy that I was open and honest about it.
For sure.
And in my mind, I was like, I'm eating less. That's a fact, Yeah. I'm not lying by saying I'm eating less.
No.
But it's not a whole truth either, And 98% of people took it really well, really supportive, really great, there's obviously a lot of misunderstandings for people that haven't looked into it.
Yeah.
Plenty of people had time to talk to me about it. I always found time to, educate them or talk to them about it.
Yeah.
There's very few which, there was a couple. He said, "Oh, Nick, you've lost a lot of weight." It's like, I'm eating a bit less. Oh, is that it? I said, "Oh, well, no, I actually had some surgery." Oh, okay. And that's been the end of the discussion.
Right.
Now that's only happened to a couple of people.
Sure.
Unfortunately, one of them at the time was my boss.
Uh-huh.
But I don't have a lot more to say about him. He's not my boss anymore.
No, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
But
I think you certainly learn a lot.
Vast majority of people have been very open, very good about it. And I think a lot of it may have just come with my attitude to telling it. If I feel like people realise I'm not going to take a lot of grief from them.
No.
So either you accept it or you just keep walking.
Yeah, well, for sure. I think you've certainly learned a lot about people, and I've certainly learnt a lot about people after they learn something about you that they don't expect, and then when you tell them that you've had this surgery, which for such a long time, and I think you'll understand this as well, I think we all kind of understand it, this surgery was so taboo. It was not something that was accepted. It was like, oh, this is for, people who, are basically losers. They can't lose the weight. They have to get surgery. It's like, well, it's not like that at all. It's actually a tool that can be used to save your life. How about you think of it like that? And I think we learn a lot about people when they're not so open-minded, I suppose. They're not willing to accept that, a lot of good people get this done when they just need help and they need something to get them there.
I think there's a general conception that overweight people are lazy.
Yes.
It sort of goes hand in hand. So it's again, relating it to work. It's a bit of a unique scenario I'm in these days. Again, because I worked there at my highest weight. I've lost the weight while I've been there. There's no doubt there's a mentality from a number of the people I work with that I'm lazy.
Yeah.
These days I certainly don't look lazy, I guess
Yeah.
is a way to put it. And there's certainly, within the 2.5 years I've been at the company I've been at, I've had opportunities to move around.
Yes.
And I spent a month, just before I went on holiday, spent a month at a different part of the organisation where these people didn't know me. And I've rocked up as 73 kilo Nick.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I got treated differently there.
Yeah, sure.
It's just the way it is. And I couldn't. Over the course of working with some guys for a month, you end up talking to them, and I've told a couple of them, where I've come from and what I've done.
Sure.
They didn't believe me, so I had to show them a couple of photos.
Oh, right.
And it spun them out, and getting described as the little fella is a unique experience for sure.
Very, very much, very much unique.
But unfortunately, there's stereotypes and beliefs and all that, and being a large person falls into it as much as any other stereotype. The crazy thing is being on the other end of it these days.
Yeah.
I had these real mixed emotions. I was probably, I think I was just sub 100 kilos at the point, going to the gym every morning, at the gym, 5 o'clock in the morning, working out. And, this guy started coming there in the mornings. The gym was dead quiet. There'd usually be 2 or 3 blokes in their tops. I'm there doing my workout, and this guy starts coming in every morning, and I've seen him for a couple of weeks. Easy 200 kilos, big bloke. And he's there dressed, long sleeves, long pants, only showing the skin that he absolutely has to get through his day.
Yeah.
But he's there 5 o'clock every morning, just walking on the treadmill, half an hour walking on the treadmill. And, again, I said, at this point, I'm looking pretty fit. I'm doing my thing. I look over at this bloke every morning, and all I wanted to do was go over to him and pat him on the back and say, mate, I don't even know your name, but I'm proud of you. Well done. I'm so pumped for you that you're doing something.
Yeah, for sure.
But every time I looked over at him, I could see the absolute look of fear on his face.
Yeah.
That go, please don't let this guy come talk to me. I don't want to communicate with him. I don't want anything to do with this guy.
He wants to be in his own bubble.
Yeah, and I had to respect that. I'm like, because I was just about there.
Yeah, sure.
I kind of get it, but I wanted nothing more to tell the bloke, hey, I've been there. Don't fear me or whatever term you want to use. But and it's the same thing. Probably the last thing I wanted when I was big was some words of wisdom from somebody that was fit.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because I suppose we had that perception, or I suppose general society has the perception of people who go to the gym all the time are just big muscly guys who talk like this, and they don't want to talk to anyone because they're so tough. And it's like a lot of people are not like that. We find that out by going to the gym ourselves, and you see that there's so many different people.
Certainly one of my wife's hang-ups. We've just changed gym to a Gold's gym, big flash fancy gym. And my missus is worried about going there because of all the meatheads going, they're going to judge her, and they're going to be snickering and making remarks. And what I had to say to her, I guess, the meatheads aren't the guys you have to worry about. These guys at the gym every day, they're there for one sole purpose, and that is to work themselves out.
They're checking themselves out. They're judging themselves.
They don't have time for other people.
Yeah.
It's the 16-year-old that wants to be one of those guys that's the bell end usually.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because he doesn't know any better. And I think she's figured that out fairly quickly, that it's the guys that you think are going to be the dumbest are in fact the least judgmental, because everybody started somewhere,
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
What about, talking about your wife and just talking about that little, it's actually kind of cute to listen to that story. I mean, how was she when you told her that you were going to go through this, through this surgery? And I'm sure she was very supportive, but how was that discussion? Was it very simple, or was it a long-winded one, or?
Like I said, the surgery was a long time coming. I think from the first time I talked to the surgeon to when I actually had the surgery done was probably 3 years.
Yeah.
So it was always something on the radar. And look, I guess probably like a lot of people in a relationship who go and have the surgery, how do I put it sensitively? Usually you're of a similar physique as each other.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
You don't usually have one skinny person and one larger person in the relationship.
Sure.
So she certainly understood my plight. She wasn't, I guess, quite ready in her own mind to accept her own scenario.
Yep.
And I guess happy for me in some way to be the crash test dummy.
Yeah.
And see how it goes. And it certainly, here I am 18 months post-op or whatever it is, give and take. And she's finally starting to come around herself.
Okay.
So I'm not avoiding the question, but I guess in my mind, I know the few little issues we've had along the way.
Sure.
And I almost think for you guys would be an interesting topic to get to get a partner of someone that's had the surgery to be open and honest about how they feel about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it is I don't envy the situation she's been in. For sure, it's been difficult for her.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fear of a lot of partners have is that the person's going to lose the weight and they're going to change. They're going to, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
They're going to leave them. They're all of a sudden going to be too good. What they often miss is the partner that's losing the weight still only has eyes for them. Nothing physically outside I've changed, but mentally.
Doesn't mean you're a different person.
No.
It's a fascinating thing for me because from my point of view, and I suppose Chantelle and I are a little bit different because we went through the surgery a month apart. We didn't. Yeah. I suppose we went through it together, and we're a little bit different in that fact because. Chantelle still had all those thoughts the same way, mate. She thought the exact same way as what you're mentioning. Partners do talk about. She was worried that I was because she's like, oh, you're so attractive. Women are going to fall over you. I'm like, really? Where? where are all these women that you're talking about? Because I'd like to meet them. But yeah, it was the case of I absolutely hear what you're saying. It's like I might change how I physically look, but I still love you. You're still my wife. I'm not an asshole that's like, oh well, now that I'm all thin and attractive, I'm going to go get someone better. It's like, for me, it was even different again because she was changing in front of my eyes as well. So I was like, don't you understand? Yeah. I worry about the fact that guys are going to come after you. So it's not the case that you have to worry about that. We grew together. So, certainly I can understand the partners aspect. It's like, it's going to be such a life change, not only food and physical and fitness and all that kind of stuff, but what about other people? Are they going to see them differently? Are they going to, a girl's going to try and talk to Nik more and things like that? So I can understand, but I think from my point of view, I'm very much like you.
I see there's stats out there, saying that, people, when one partner's had weight loss surgery, divorce rate in those couples goes up by some atrocious amount.
I've heard that too. And go ahead, sorry.
I guess the way I look at it is, I'm a strong believer in it's all about communication, you know, and that's
Yes.
at the end of the day, nothing's a problem at the end of the day if you can communicate with each other honestly about it.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the way I look at it, those relationships were possibly doomed anyway.
Yeah.
It's just been brought on earlier by the fact someone's changed physically. It's not that the relationship's better or worse than what it was. It's just, yes, eyes have been opened.
I mean, we've seen it within our own
regard.
community as well, within the weight loss community, you know, you and I are a part of. We've seen relationships break down. I'm surprised by the amount of relationships that break down where it's the opposite. The partner who hasn't had surgery leaving the partner who has because they've lost too much weight. And it's like, what? That just blows my mind when I hear that stuff.
I mean, there's a, like I said, I certainly don't envy what my wife has been going through.
No.
One of the funny stories was, you know, the usual thing of people that go through weight loss surgery, suffering hair loss and all the rest of it. Not something, I didn't lose any hair. I have super thick, super fast growing hair, but my hair did go to shit. It started going real slowly, went real wiry, all the rest of it. Now, I took a real man's approach to it, went easy. I'll just shave it all off.
Yep.
So I ran there for months just shaving my head every other week, just keeping it, you know, buzz cut the whole time. So, you know, bought the clippers. Mrs. was shaving my head for me in the shower, easy. About the fourth or fifth time I went to have my head shaved by her, she said, "This is going to be the last time I do it." Well, why is that? Because I'm losing weight at a rapid rate by then.
Sure.
And we've got to get a kid that's 4 months old and we're getting bugger all sleep. I'm looking pretty tired most of the time. She goes, "I'm sick of people coming up to me and asking me if you're sick."
Oh, no.
I'm sick of people asking me if I'm dying because I've got a shaved head, I look exhausted, and I'm getting real thin.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that would have been terrible.
At no point has anyone asked me directly.
No,
they've all just gone to my wife, asked her if I'm getting sick.
That would have been, that would have been terrible for her.
So I had to give her that one. I went, all right, I'll try and grow it out. But, you know, and I guess another funny little one, and it's balanced out now, but, you know, in my mind I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to start eating smaller portions. This will rub off. You know, everybody in the household will start eating less.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it happens. Well, like I think most relationships, the wife does most of the cooking in the household.
Yeah.
It took her a little bit of time to adapt to the new portion size.
Sure.
So she was cooking as much as she used to, or maybe a little bit less, but still principally a lot more than what would get eaten.
Yeah.
So in the early days, I was eating my cupful, my little bit. Yet all the food was still getting eaten somehow.
Okay.
So for the first few months, I think my wife was having the lion's share. And then she realised it wasn't quite working out for her, and we finally started cooking less.
Fair enough, yeah.
But, for sure, it's lessons to learn for everyone. You know, and these days, you know, she's caught on and she's enjoying the gym as much as I am, or, you know,
it's great.
Some days when I can't be bothered, she's genuinely disappointed that we're not going and that sort of stuff. So,
no, that's good. That's fantastic that you're able to, you know, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know you as well as other people, but I feel like you guys are quite, you know, bonded. Like, and that you can bond over gym as well is fantastic, and you both love doing things together. It's awesome.
She just before she started going to the gym, you know, I was going and tried to explain to her that, you know, the physical aspect of the gym is obviously one, you know, a major part of it. But for me, a lot of it was the mental aspect.
Yes.
You go to the gym for an hour a day or whatever it is. It doesn't, and that's why I used to love going to the gym in the mornings.
Yeah.
Go before work, go rattle out a workout for an hour, sweat your ass off and just absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what that day brought. If you achieved nothing at work that day, you'd still go home with some sort of sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because you went to the gym, you gave it all you had. And initially she didn't understand what I was getting at when I was talking about the mental aspect of going to the gym.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks of her going to the gym, she pulled me aside and said, I 100% get it now, and she's home all day with Bub and there's more successful days than others.
Of course.
But rattling out that gym workout gives you an excuse to be tired at the end of the day.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. We've all been there where we've had a lazy day and done absolutely nothing. And by 7 o'clock that night, you are absolutely exhausted and can't quantify why you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So if you've done nothing else in that day but go and sweat for a while, at least in your own mind, you can quantify why you feel tired.
Yeah, exactly. Giving you an excuse to be tired also it gives you a better excuse to, or a little bit easier to sleep as well, and getting your a reason to rest. It's a good routine.
Yeah.
If you're going to have any kind of routine, that's a good one to have.
Yeah, it's a release for sure. And I guess for me, what works these days, my biggest hang up is, I guess the former fatty that's still inside of me. My biggest hang up is getting home from work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have to find something to keep me busy. Otherwise, that pantry gets destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
If I get home, sit on the couch in front of the TV, the head hunger is there with a vengeance, even to this day.
Absolutely.
So the gym is a good one because, there's plenty of lawn to be mowed or weeds to be pulled, but that feels too much like work.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the gym instead.
Well, the gym is your choice. It's not something that it's a chore that has to be done. It's at the start it does, and people will feel like that. They always say most people drop off after 3 months, and that's not after 3 months of consistently going to the gym either. That's 3 months of procrastinating about it. So if you can make it a habit that you enjoy, and I used to be the same. I used to go 5 days a week. It's something I need to get back into. Unfortunately, I haven't been doing it a whole lot myself lately. But I know that once you pick up that habit, once you pick up that routine, you actually make it. You start wanting to get better. You start wanting to beat your personal goals. You start wanting to make sure you get there on time and use the hour or use the half an hour wherever you go, and just make sure that it's actually part of your life, and you actually start to enjoy it so much more when you can actually make it your own.
Yeah. That's certainly one of the things that gets me, through the whole Instagram and social media thing is you see the people saying, I want to go to the gym, but I'm not confident. And it's like, mate, you're going to lose the weight anyway. You've had the surgery, you're eating go to the gym. If it means walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes at 5K an hour, it's a movement. That's all you need.
Yeah, and
don't overthink it.
Yeah,
just do something. Something is better than nothing any day of the week.
And just by being there, you're going to actually want, your mental state will change, and your mental state will be like, maybe I don't want to do this today. Maybe I want to try that. Oh, it looks tough. I'll start at the lower point, and then you just get better and better, and then you're like, no, I can do better than that. I can do better than that tomorrow. It's just,
you don't have to change the world overnight. Just chip away at it. Just do something. Do more than what you did the day before.
The best thing even when before surgery and when I was at my highest weight, I used to go to the gym, as I say, 5 days a week and just did the routine that I was comfortable with. And I thought to myself, I'll never ever be able to run on a treadmill because I just couldn't run. I just could never run for a long period of time. I just hated it. And I remember going to the gym before we moved house, so it was probably around about January this year, and I actually got to run on the treadmill for 11 minutes straight. And it was just amazing. It was just something I've never thought I'd be able to do. But, that was by me just pushing myself and just wanting to improve. And I can tell people from my own experience, and Nick's certainly more of an expert on fitness, being a fitness enthusiast, more than me. He can, I mean, I just know that by actually going, just having that routine, and it's very tedious to begin with, and it's very hard to, you know, kind of get yourself over the line to start with. But once you get going, it's just something that I loved, and I know people would enjoy if they get right into it. I mean, speaking on the fitness side, I mean, while we are speaking on that, I mean, how do you stay motivated? I mean, I know we've talked about, obviously, the routine that you have and the fact that you do enjoy it, but there are going to be days, like you've spoken about, where you're just not really up for it and you're going to be tired. I mean, has your mentality changed over the journey, or has it always been, you know, a positive and healthy mindset towards fitness, you know, once you got started?
Oh, I don't know. Look, there's plenty of times where I can think of plenty of other better things to do than going to the gym. But yeah, again, I guess it's about having a goal, and prioritizing that goal. You know, where does it fit in the grand scheme of things? You know, how important is it to you?
Yeah.
You know, for sure. If you can find something that makes you happy, good. You know, I guess, you know, it's probably a bit of a cheats way to do it, you know. But I probably, you know, like a lot of other people, suffered a bit of a food addiction, I guess is a way to put it. I don't, yeah.
No, I hear you.
And I don't think I've gotten rid of the addiction. I've just redirected it to something more constructive.
Sure.
You know, if you can take an addiction that's unhealthy and just translate it to an addiction that's healthy, okay, you still have an addiction, but at least it's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, for sure. Because you want to really channel that, you know, if people do have an addictive personality, I mean, we can all break an addiction within 3 weeks, but I mean, what you want to do is you want to start a healthy addiction, like you say. So if you can really point your energy towards a good thing,
turn it into something positive. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly right.
So that's, yeah. And it is, I can have a super active day followed by a day where I just pig out.
Yeah. But that's not abnormal too. Like, I mean,
in my head, it balances out all right, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everyone's entitled to live their life a bit, and they're not expected to be, you know, healthy 100% of the time. I think especially for people like us in the WLS community, it's going to be a lifelong change. It's certainly not going to be able to happen overnight. I think people who try to make it happen overnight are just going to fail. I think a lot of the community has really understood that it is a very long journey. It's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. I mean, I'm more than 2 years out. I'm 2.5 years out, and I know myself it's going to take a lot longer than the time that I have been, you know, I suppose not battling, but along this journey, it's still going to take a lot longer. So I think people just have to accept that things are going to happen, just however they want.
Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, what I love, you know, again, I'm not an old dog at it now, but I've certainly, you know, I've gotten well and truly over the honeymoon period now of a weight loss surgery. You know, they're all saying, you know, the first 12 months it's a cruise. But I certainly look at the people on social media that have recently started their journeys. And it reminds me about how much fun it really was in the early days. You know?
Yeah.
Where more or less every time you jumped on the scales, the number was smaller.
It just dropped, yeah.
Or every time you put, yeah. As frustrating as it was buying new clothes and then a month later they're being too loose, it was awesome too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess if I could say anything to those people, just make sure you enjoy it. Because it will, you know, it will slow down, it will stop, you'll regain or whatever at some point. So just don't
enjoy it while you can.
Don't stress out about it. Just have fun. You know, it's good. You've paid for this experience, so enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's going to, you know, you're going to have your peaks and troughs like in everything. And I think, once people understand that you are going to have those ups and downs, and they can just accept that it's just part of life and part of this journey, then I think it'll be a lot better for sure. I mean, moving away from the fitness side, I mean, going back to, I suppose, the other half, well, some people would say it's the other half, which is food. What's something that you would, is there something you don't eat now that you did, but you actually miss? And, what do you love now that you didn't before, maybe, as well? How has your perception of food changed in that factor?
Okay, what do I love now that I didn't love before? Yeah. Probably, I didn't mind it before, but what I've been getting a lot more of these days is fish. I was always of the mentality, if I went to a restaurant and ordered the fish over the steak, I was cheating myself.
Fair enough,
the fish was bad, but it wasn't steak.
Yeah, exactly.
These days I just celebrate the fact that my lunch cost me $2 because I bought a can of mackerel for $2.
Yeah.
But okay, there's probably no foods that I have started eating now that I wasn't eating before. I think probably like a lot of guys, I probably wasn't eating that bad in the first place. It was probably more so quantity than quality.
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty lucky. My favorite snacks before weight loss surgery were pork crackle and beef jerky anyway.
Yeah.
And these days, okay. My dietitian tells me pork crackle's bad because it's the same as eating as a Mars bar, but she can take a hike because I like it and it's high in protein.
It's delicious, goddammit.
It's delicious, and it's amazing how much of it you can eat.
Yes. It's such a slider food.
It is. But, it's better than eating a Mars bar as far as I'm concerned. Look, these days what I struggle with is dairy and pasta. Okay. Pasta is probably the big one for me because it was such a big part of my diet before. Sure. I think in a previous life I could have been a chef, and spaghetti is one of my absolute, like my meal. The spaghetti I make is orgasmic.
It's your go-to meal.
And I've tried bloody wholemeal pastas and gluten-free pastas, and some of them work better than others, but it's not the same.
It just doesn't sit.
It doesn't stick. I've learned, I can have a bit of pasta. Even today I'm learning how much pasta I can have in my meal.
Yeah.
The other one that catches me out is dairy. Now, I'm not entirely sure. Like many other weight loss surgery patients, I have gallstones these days.
Yeah.
It does need to come out at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough to know what sets it off. So principally, I can avoid it, and I haven't. The only time I have attack is when I forget, or when I just sort of ignore what's going to set it off. And for me personally, that's a combination of basically meat and dairy.
Yeah.
So if I have a nice roast and then have an ice cream afterwards, I'm going to regret it.
Yeah.
The first time it was beef jerky and then a yogurt an hour later.
Yeah, sure.
So, I can manage it, and now I'm just trying to work the public health system, so they'll go take it out for me.
Yeah, sure.
But other than that, there's not a lot of things which, I know from listening to previous podcasts, it's not an issue for you, but eating and drinking certainly don't work for me. I have to wait a solid half an hour to drink after I eat. Otherwise, it comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, not wanting to sound stupid, that's that has worked to my advantage from time to time.
Yeah.
We have all overindulged and felt uncomfortable because we all know these days it takes one spoon too many for you to feel like absolute shit. Yeah, I don't do it frequently, but a glass of water can solve my problems, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Not something I'm proud of, but yeah, it's still that versus feeling uncomfortable for the next hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, certainly from my point of view, I'll say this over and over again. I've been very lucky. At the same time, probably a little bit silly with what I've been able to achieve in terms of eating and drinking, and also with I experienced a lot of the uncomfortableness early, and I suppose it's a bit weird to explain, but I kind of trained my body to get around it. Whereas Chantelle's really, really had struggles with that sitting feeling on your chest that you just can't get rid of, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And she's also really struggled with having to keep food down in that sense. So she'll definitely identify with what you're saying. And as I say, I've been very lucky in the fact that I haven't experienced that. I'm able to drink and eat at the same time. It's probably something that I shouldn't really do. I don't actually advocate people doing it because I think it's not the best thing for your surgery. I'm starting to work on actually changing that habit because I want to stop doing it. Mostly because I think I actually take away from the enjoyment of food a bit and the taste of food. But,
and look, I think it's probably one of those habits that okay, the surgery for a lot of people it doesn't become possible anymore. But even just for the general population, it's probably a good idea anyway.
Yeah. No, I think so as well. I agree. But I suppose changing track a little bit and just getting more onto yourself and a little bit more about things we might not know about you. What is something that you might be passionate about in your life now that you weren't before? Or maybe even you might have been a little bit interested. You got more interested in after surgery. Is there something that has maybe changed in your life, in your personal life, that you like to do now?
Well, I dare say anyone that follows my Instagram knows it's probably rugby union these days.
Very nice.
Which seems kind of stupid because I could have quite happily played that at 146 kilos. And don't get me wrong, there's a couple of pre-seasons there I attempted, but I just didn't stick it through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's probably become my passion as much as anything these days.
Cool.
And it gets me out and about, and again, it's an active thing. It's fitness without really feeling like a workout.
Yeah, sure. Is that something you never thought would ever be something you would do?
Look, in my head, it was one of those things that I always thought I'd like to try. Mind you, I'm a bit strange. In my head, I'd like to be a cage fighter too, but I know that's never going to happen.
I like the thinking, mate. I think we can get behind you, and I think we're going to cheer for Nik the Great.
Nik the Great, yeah. But look, the funny thing about rugby is, in some ways, it's I think like a lot of people have experienced that have had the surgery, they lose weight a lot quicker than what their brain catches up with. Of
course.
So for anyone that knows rugby, a guy that is 5'11" and 73 kilos, about the only position he can play is on the wing.
Yes.
So I'm considered the fast guy.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about having that nickname?
Not so good. The funny thing is, and it's starting to catch up now, but in my head I was still best part of 150 kilos playing rugby. Now, the thing is, there's guys out on the field that are 150 kilos.
Yep.
And you're running at that bloke, in your mind the same size, if not larger than him.
Yeah.
But
I see where this is going.
Physics is a nasty kick in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So I've only been playing rugby this season. I've only been to the ED once, but I've been to the physio about 15 times. I've done AC joints in both my shoulders.
Oh.
There's some photos of me with blue, black, and purple bruises all down my arm after playing a bunch of guys that were actually league players playing union for a game.
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know, and I don't not to start a discussion, but league players are meatheads and union players are actually smart.
I love it.
Well, okay, let's just put genetically, league players are the freaks. They're all big, fast, and monsters, and union players are a lot more role specific. So again, small, fast guys and large monsters. So when you're playing a team which are all just big, and you're small, it hurts a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, old experiences. This season, again, 32-year-old rookie playing rugby for the first time. My goal was reached this year of being able to take a tackle or take a hit. Next year I'm going to work on actually, laying a hit.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. And maybe in 10 years' time, the dream will be scoring an actual try.
No, but this year, mate. This season.
Yeah. And look, it's good because it's funny. As far as goals go, the first goal of every weight loss surgery patient is to lose weight. There's a number they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Now, me personally, I hit that number and have actually gone, 5 kilos lower than what that number was.
Sure.
Without really attempting to. But now I've been floating at this 72, 73 kilos for 3-4 months by now. So it's like, okay, I need a new goal. Where do you go from there? How do you keep the motivation up?
Yeah.
And rugby's actually given me that motivation because principally I'm too small to play rugby now.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. So now it's about, I don't even know if it's possible. Again, I'm only an enthusiast. I'm not a junkie.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, I'll be sitting here at 80 kilos.
Yeah. So bulking back up.
Now, naturally, that's putting on 7 kilos of muscle.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, that's a nice dream. I don't know if I can physically eat enough to achieve that.
Sure.
But we'll try.
Yeah.
You got to do something. So
that's awesome, man.
Why not?
I'm sure you do it. It might take time, but I'm sure you'll do it.
That's the plan. But like I said, the whole saga has ultimately been setting goals, and achieving goals is what's kept me going.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So I guess the secret's going to be keep setting goals.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a lesson to learn for everyone. So yeah, keep kicking those goals for sure. Just a few more questions and then I'll stop bothering you and I can let you get back to your normal life, of course. Now, we know you're active on social media. We see you with your Instagram account and you're very active there. It's something that you do seem to enjoy. Is this the case, or are there aspects that you don't enjoy of maybe social media, Instagram, or even the WLS community in general?
It's a funny one. Like, I don't know the exact numbers now, but I didn't see any of the Facebook groups, any of the Instagram thing until it would have been a couple of months after my surgery. I had no lead in to it. I didn't know it existed prior to me actually having the surgery.
Yeah, sure.
In some ways, I almost think that's a positive thing. Because yeah, unfortunately, there's a bit of negativity out there.
Yes.
Not that I'm one to spend a lot of time dwelling on it, but I don't think it would have helped my journey in the early days.
Sure.
The Instagram thing come about. Yeah, I have my own personal Instagram, and I guess I'm proud of what I'm achieving, and I wanted to share it, but I didn't really want to force it on my friends.
Sure.
I don't want them, if they're interested, great. If they're not, I don't want them to have to deal with it.
Sure.
So here I was, I went and started my weight loss Instagram account. And started from there, started realizing how big it was. But if anything, it probably started on I think one of the bigger Facebook groups in Australia, and seeing Alice put up a couple of photos, in fact, and seeing she had the at Alice Blows, watermarked over her pictures, and I'm like, what's all this jazz, and eventually figured out it was an Instagram thing, and obviously very quickly realized it was a lot bigger than what I realized. I guess, do I enjoy it? Yes, I guess it's, everybody's a little bit vain deep down. Some people are closer to the surface than others.
Some people are very vain. Not you, mate.
Yeah, good on them. Whatever, I'm not doing it for likes or followers or any of that, but to get the odd private message from blokes, mostly in that scenario, where they say, hey mate, you've actually inspired me to get the surgery. I was thinking about it, and seeing what you're doing has actually pushed me over the edge. That there's not a lot of other feelings around that compare,
For sure.
It's great, I think it's been such a positive experience for me that I'm a huge fan of it, and I'm certainly not trying to convince people to do it. I just like to give them all the factors I see them to them for them to make their own decision.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. I think you've done a great job on your journey. I think you're a good ambassador for people that are wanting to get into it, who, especially for guys, as you know, there's not a lot of active men in the WLS community that are as active as what some others are, and we don't get to see a hell of a lot, but there are ones out there, and I think it's good for guys to see that there are blokes in the community as well, because it's very much a female-dominated environment.
Mm. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like I said, I've started the whole thing so my friends don't have to feel obliged to.
Sure.
In the meantime, I've got guys from work that follow it. I've got guys from the rugby club that follow it. I've got people that I don't. Again, I'm very open about it, but I don't necessarily need everybody to be involved.
For sure. I know what you're saying.
And, for sure, it's been the cause of a little bit of banter these days at work and at the club and that sort of stuff. And I can deal with it, but, some days it's like, really?
Yeah.
Can we? But I guess that's part and parcel of it. I've had a few blokes send a few inappropriate messages so far. No pictures of certain body parts yet, so I'm glad of that. But mind you,
fair enough.
There's not a lady out there that sent me anything, and I'm a bit disappointed in that.
Come on, ladies. Come on, at formerly chubby hubby. Personal message.
Oh, I'm going to be in it when my wife listens to this podcast now. But anyway,
I didn't send them to you. I promise.
Yeah, but it's been a fun experience. Yeah.
No, as long as you,
I wouldn't change it.
yeah, no, that's good. And as long as you've enjoyed the experience, and that's I suppose that's the best thing about it. What in terms of your journey, what is the biggest takeaway from your journey so far, and what have you learnt the most?
What have I learnt the most? How little food you can survive on, I guess. No, it's yeah. Oh, you're asking the tough questions now, Grant.
Sorry, mate. Got the tough ones out right at the end.
Right at the end. I don't know. I get, you've heard it from a few people by now, but I guess if I can do it, I honestly believe anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Situations could be changed. Never in a million years would I be sitting here thinking I'd be the size that I am now, or feeling as good as I do now. That people have this amazing ability to adapt, and you just think what you go through is normal.
Yeah.
And it's not till you experience a different or a better type of normal that you realise it actually existed. And it is. There's no place for regrets. There's just go and do something, whatever it is. Something.
Absolutely. No, I like that, mate. I do. I think that's a good takeaway as well. You don't want to die wondering. Just go do it. Don't think about it.
What's the worst that could happen? I guess
it really is.
That's one of the things that made me laugh. Especially on the old Facebook groups. You see every day there's some newcomer, and they literally ask the same questions and have the same concerns as 1,000 people before them. There's not a person out there that went and had the surgery that the week leading up to it didn't have the same thoughts.
Oh, of course.
Oh, what if it doesn't work for me? What happens if I want to eat?
No,
it's so funny how all these issues just fall at the wayside once it's done.
And those issues are so little compared to what is actually on the other side waiting for you as well. And it's
like I don't know how I'm going to survive 2 weeks on Optifast. It's like 2 weeks is 1/10,000th of the length of your life.
Yeah,
like it's not even a measurable amount in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But I get it because I was there.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you're like, I don't even remember being on Optifast for 2 weeks.
No.
I just don't. It was a non-event.
Yeah, don't tell Chantelle you're on Optifast for 2 weeks. She'll hate you.
Yeah, well, okay, so it was 8 weeks or whatever it was. Yeah, it's
either way, it's still such an insignificant period of time in your life compared to what you're about to do for the rest of your life, and being able to experience so many great things that you never thought you were able to before. For yourself, do you think you'd go back and change anything?
Apart from doing it about 10 years earlier.
Yeah, I hear you there. For sure.
I guess the knowledge that I have these days, never getting to that situation in the first place where I would have needed it. But, there's stories I could talk for weeks about all the lessons I've learned in my life. But at the same time, worrying about them isn't going to bring anything.
Yeah.
I like the old Confucius saying, if you can do something about it, don't worry about it. If you can't do something about it, don't worry about it. And for me, it stands true almost every day that if there's a problem, Either you can do something about it or you can't do something about it. Either way, it's there. Yeah.
No, that's good, man. I think that's once again a good takeaway for everyone to think about, and it's something that everyone really needs to, take on board what you're saying. I think a lot of people can really identify with what you're saying, and it's been awesome having you on the show today, and then finally getting you on the show to interview. And I know that you wanted to have a few gripes a little while ago. I think I saw something on Instagram saying that you demanded to come on the show, or that people should be.
You're the old Sam Kekovich, you reckon?
But no, look, honestly, it's been great chatting with you. I think that's pretty much it from me. Was there anything else you wanted to share? Anything else that you wanted to bring to the table? Anything else you wanted to leave the listeners on?
Yeah, there was a couple of questions from anonymous people.
Oh,
no names
really?
will be mentioned.
Okay.
For you.
Oh, for me,
So
right.
I'll be the interviewer right now.
Okay, no worries. Shoot.
Question number 1 is, why can't you make your own sandwiches?
Right.
Again, completely random question from anonymous person. No one that you would know.
No one I would know at all. Look, I mean, I'd like to address that in a statement that I'll prepare for the press at another time. All I can say really on the matter, without going into too much detail and without checking the books and checking the accounts, of course, is that my wife should just make the sandwiches like I ask her to, and not complain. Because to be perfectly honest, and not trying to sound like a bigot there, but she actually makes amazing sandwiches. So I could actually make my own technically, but I actually get her to make it for the pure reason that she does such an amazing job. Like, it's actually the truth. I mean, if she'd said to me tomorrow, I'm not making them anymore, you're making them yourself, I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But in actual fact, I keep telling her this, but she thinks I'm lying to her, and just to trick her into getting me to make sandwiches. The fact is that they're actually so amazing, and I'm trying to tell her, you just do amazing sandwiches. What can I say? Like, I want them every day. But yes, in response, that's the reason why I will not be making my own sandwiches for the rest of my life. So unfortunately, Chantelle, you'll be stuck with that.
And it's a lot cheaper than paying Subway to make your sandwich too,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. And another completely unrelated subject is your methane production.
Right.
And the effect it has on the ozone layer.
Yeah, so I saw these statistics come out in an annual report to the Australian public. I'd like to vehemently deny this and say that it's actually coming from the other side of the bed. And I've actually I have audio recordings of this, and I will release them to the public if the point is pressured. So, to that anonymous poster, I would absolutely warn them that they have a shitstorm coming to them if they continue to lie to the public. Get your facts straight. I will release the tapes. So that's what I have to say on that, Nick. Was there any other questions, or is that anonymous poster going to go away now, I think?
I suspect that an anonymous poster is going to annoy the shit out of you.
I don't disagree with you. I'm
Okay.
kind of dreading.
I have a serious question for you.
Sure.
Is Chantelle going to do her social shout out in this episode?
Ooh, well, it's going to be, it's going to be hard. She might have to call into the show to do it. I might actually have to get her to call in.
You're going to okay, it's all sorted then, because, and just write a bloody theme song for her already.
Not you two. Come on. You got to be on my side here. You got to be on my side. If she wants a theme song, she has to source it herself. I mean, I am no musical genius. I am no great composer. The music for our show is free. I mean, that's where we got our music for the show. So,
as all the people in Radio Land there can't actually see, but Grant can. I'm about 3 or 4 bourbons in.
I can see.
Give us a couple more and I'll write you a theme song.
There you go, Shan. Now, I've got that on the recording, which will be going live to the people within the next couple of days. You will be able to hear Nick say that he is taking responsibility for writing this theme song.
But you have to play it.
I'll play it. No, I've got no problem. It can be made. I'm just not making it. If it's made for her, I will play it for her on the show, and that'll be fine. So there you go, people. The theme song is being made, and Nick is taking responsibility. I'll go see
a man about a dog then.
You see, now you put yourself in it now. You're going to have to do it.
Say, all right. That only backfired a little bit.
No, that's it. We've decided we're going to have the theme song. Well, maybe not next week, but we'll have the theme song at some point, and Nick will be the composer. I'll even credit you. I'll credit you on the show for it as well.
Oh, well, Chantelle's doing a social shout out. That's fine, but just one quick shout out to Will, otherwise known as I Can't Wait No More.
Yep.
He is currently dying from man flu. So I need everybody to send out their praise to him and make sure he pulls through, because clearly his wife will not understand the plight he is currently in.
I love it. Come on, Will. Get over that man flu, mate. We need you back on board.
You can do it, mate. You can do it.
I think
but in all fairness, he with man flu, he went to the gym and did legs. Now that
okay.
It's stupid, but
at least he's trying.
Respect.
At least he's trying.
That's it.
No, good stuff. All right, mate. Well, I think that's all we've got for tonight. Once again, thank you for coming on board. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to Nick tonight. But I hope you enjoyed it as well, mate. It was fantastic. It's a very long but very good interview. It's probably the longest episode we will ever have. But I like that. You like that? I do.
Okay, well, and there wasn't a single dick or fart joke in the whole thing.
Surely we can fit one in.
I don't know. I'm a bit low on protein today.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any farts. But anyway, we'll work on it.
All right, mate. Well, once again, as I say, thank you for joining us today, but let's say goodbye to Nick and let him get back to his normal life, and we'll stop bothering him.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Nick. See you later.
Bye.
So there he was, Nik Machek, being on Changing Our Ways podcast, joining me for a great chat there. It's really good to talk to people like Nick. He's been fantastic in the community and been so, what to say? He's been so active and been such a great inspiration for not only the guys out there, but the community in general. Now, I'm going to do what Nick actually said and actually get Chantelle on the line. She's actually out at the moment. Just out to dinner, and I'm going to get her on the line to do her social shout out, because we can't do a show without Shan's social shout out. So let's see if we can get her on Skype and see if we can get her on the show. Let's give her a call now. All right. You should be able to hear. Oh, yep, we can hear her in the background. God, that's loud.
Hey.
Hello, Chantelle. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh my God, I thought I got away from you.
What do you mean? That's not very nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was very nasty of me to say.
Yes, well, to be perfectly honest, it's been actually refreshing doing the show without you.
Oh, now you know how I felt when I did it with Alice.
Oh, I see how it is, mate. Well, one thing that came up with the chat with Nick is that he was asking whether we're doing your social shout-out. And I said, well, that's a good point. We have to have a show with Shan's social shout-out. And I thought I'd just give you a call to see if you have got someone for this week that we can put on the show for your social shout-out.
I think this week I'm going to give my social shout-out
Wait. Are you forgetting something? Are you forgetting something, Chantelle?
Oh, Shan's social shout-out. Dun, 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 dun. I'm out in public.
Yeah, but I've got some really good news for you, and you won't have to wait to listen to the podcast to find out. Nick has volunteered to make your theme song.
Is he really?
He's volunteered to make your theme song.
Oh, thank you, Nick.
Now, he was a little... He had 3 drinks already, so He was getting there a bit, but we've got it on recording that he has volunteered to make it. So you'll have to follow up with him. Yeah, it's just a direct
I'm
transaction.
going to harass him. I'm currently out with 8 beautiful women from our community having dinner. That's the reason why I'm not there doing the podcast with you. But
Yes.
It's been a really good night. Anyway, back to my shout out.
Yes.
So this one particular lovely lady, I've eaten too much food, sorry. She is always in my inbox. She's always checking in on me. She's always checking on everyone. She's a bit of an organizer. She's a bit of a sunshine in the community, and I always look forward to her messages, and even if I'm having a bad day, I still get one from her, and I'm going to give it to Rosie. She's a very, very positive influence in our community. We need more people like her. And P.S. I'm sorry, I can't do the 1,000 steps. Please don't hurt me.
Oh, you're not telling her over the podcast? That's not very nice.
No, I've already told her I can't do it. But yeah, look, she's incredible. She's very motivating, very inspiring. She does take time out of her day to, check in on everyone. She's one person I definitely want to keep around, and I do want to spend more time with one-on-one so I can get to know her. But I'm glad that our paths have crossed.
Yes, no, Rosie is awesome. Now, do you remember Rosie's Instagram name?
Oh, what's Rosie's Instagram name?
You're lucky that I've got it on me at the moment. It's actually RosieG_WLS_RNY.
Oh, well, I've just sent a whole panic on the table now to go and look for her name. But thanks, Grant.
Yes, well, I'm prepared. But, I'm glad you could join us on the podcast just to give us your social shout out. That's
no worries.
pretty
I'm
much
going to stop being antisocial now and go back to my social activities.
Well, to be honest, that's all I really needed you for anyway.
No worries. You can make your own sandwiches. Goodbye. No. Lovely talking to you.
Nick and I have discussed that he agrees with me, even though it might not be on the recording. He agrees with me that you need to make my sandwiches because you do such a great job.
Yeah, I'll message Nick and find out myself, mate.
All right, well, have a good rest of your dinner, and we'll speak to you later. Bye,
Thank
Chantelle.
You. Talk to you soon.
Bye. And that was Chantelle. Isn't it great to hear from such a lovely lady? And I'm sure I'll get some shit when she comes home anyway. But that was a great social shout out. I think Rosie is a fantastic member of the community as well. She's done such a great job. So well done to Rosie and her journey there. All right, guys. Well, that's really it for this week. It's been a long episode, I know, the longest we've had, but I think it's a really great interview that we've had with Nick. Really, some really good insight, especially from a male point of view. It was great chatting with him. And it was, it's always good to share some good stories with the blokes of the community, and everyone out there in general. Now, just finally, I'm not here with Chantelle, but I can still do my disclaimer is that just please know that our show is based on, not, medical expertise. It's just from our own experience, okay? So we will share our own stories. We will share other people's stories. It's from experience. It's no medical expert advice. If you require medical advice or if you require expertise in the area of any sort of medicine, but let alone the WLS community, if you require that expertise, please go seek advice from your GP, from your surgeon, from your dietitian, your nutritionist. As I say, this is very much an opinion-based show. It's not in any form qualified advice apart from our own experience in the community itself and on the surgery side itself and what comes with it. I'm just kind of fumbling over my words now, guys. It's fantastic. It's kind of hard not having a co-host with me. I must admit, I miss her. I miss her a lot. No, not really. I'll see her tonight anyway, so I can't miss her for too long. Anyway, guys, that'll be it for this week. Thank you again for joining me on the program this week. And once again, this is myself, Grant, and the show, Changing Our Ways, signing off.